I do not myself believe this is likely, but is it possible that there be some kind of arrangement like Notre Dame had made with the ACC, where UCLA and USC enter into an agreement with the Big Ten, but let's say they limited it to football and men's and women's basketball only? Is that a possibility?
Matt, what do you think? I think
Yeah,
so.
I think there's a strong possibility of that because, you know, the obvious, as Tony very eloquently said, like this is not what the Olympic sports athletes signed up for. And obviously, you know, swimming and diving and water polo, like there's a West Coast identity to those sports. You know, growing up on the beach, and USC and UCLA both have, you know, world-class water polo programs. It just that would just seem like a real unnecessary lift to push them into the Big Ten, kicking and screaming. Why not just keep the Olympic sports in the Pac-12? That makes all the sense in the world.
And to take Matt's point one step further, both of these are schools that go well out of their way to tout the success of their Olympic sport championships. You know, Stanford is number 1 in the country in its NCAA championships. UCLA is 2 and SC is 3, and it's a massive drop off to whoever number 4 is. I'm pretty sure it's an SEC team. So I think that, you know, they don't want to just, you know, snub their nose at the Olympic sports and tell them whatever, suck it up and deal with it, cupcake. I think they want to try and do what is best to try and accommodate it, again, because it becomes an extraordinary financial burden to take your softball team to the Midwest for 2 weeks.
Well, I make that connection because I'm thinking of, you know, I'm in contact with a lot of the Iowa State football players as part of my job. I know that the tight end Charlie Kohler, quarterback Brock Purdy, were honestly, in my opinion, just as pleased to have both graduated with their degrees magna cum laude as they were being late round draft choices, because they know in 10 years they're not going to be in the NFL, even if they have a short NFL career. And in their mid 30s, they're going to have something. And I think of all these kids, I think of the USC men's golf team, the rowing team at UCLA women. I mean, all these kids, I don't want to see them lose an academic opportunity because all of us football fans forced a decision that they didn't have anything to do with. And I'll get out of the way. Thanks so much for everything you guys are doing today. And folks, hit that thumbs up button for Mark. Help him out.
Thanks, J-Dub. Always appreciate you being here.
Hey, Mark, if I could comment, I know J-Dub jumped off the line, but if I could make one more comment on that, because look, there's a part of me, and you and I have joked about this, talking about the USC UCLA games, and like I went to and so you know this, I went to my first college football game in 1972 when I was 7 years old and was hooked from that very moment. So I love the tradition of everything, and I love that, you know, third week in November when I was growing up meant you wake up, you turn on the Ohio State-Michigan game, and then you head over to the Coliseum for the UCLA-USC game when both teams were still playing there. And those two games usually defined who was going to be in the Rose Bowl. And I get it. I really do. And I have moments where I start to sound like the guy yelling at people to get off my lawn. But the change is inevitable. It really is. And so it's about the process and how you get there.
That's a great segue, Tony, before we take our next call, because that's what I wanted to hit you both up with, because we come on here and writers, analysts, whatever tag we want to put on us. We're college football fans, just like everybody else. We love the sport. That's why we do what we do. So UCLA guy, Matt, I don't know your origins in regards to your fanhood, but your fandom, but you know, how does this move you as a college football fan or a fan of your particular school? We'll start with you, Tony, as a UCLA fan. From that side of it, aside from just trying to figure out the logistics and the money and who gains what and what it's going to mean down the road.
Yeah, it's challenging to look at it because, as you said, the reporter in me puts on my analytics hat. I had to put away my UCLA fandom, as you know, for the 5 years I covered the team, and had to kind of shove that way down deep and be the reporter and the analyst and all that. if we go back to my time before then and just being a college football guy and a UCLA guy, I don't like it. I don't like this change. I really don't. I know it's about money, and that's why I don't like it, because that's all it's about. It's not about improving the competitive nature. We're going to hear a press conference where we're going to talk about the academic likeness between Big Ten schools and Pac-12 schools and the similarities in mindset, and it's garbage. It's about money and nothing more. I don't like it.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it. And I think one really big topic before we get back to the phones here at the Voice of College Football is that Rose Bowl's dead, right? The bowl system's
what do you do
dead.
with it? Yeah.
The bowl system is dead. Like the Rose Bowl's desire to have its traditional place in the bowl system, it's blown up because you don't have the Big Ten, Pac-12 setup anymore. You don't have the tradition anymore. Like this is now just an exhibition game, or at least it's just a pawn in a larger sea of postseason properties. What is the point of having USC and UCLA in the Big Ten if you want the Rose Bowl to mean anything? Like, so now you don't have USC and Michigan, USC and Ohio State in the Rose Bowl anymore. And if you don't have that, you don't have anything. So I think like the Rose Bowl's claim to any kind of footing or foothold in the sport just got blown up. And I think like the bowls as we've known them, that's done. Like you just play a bunch of playoff games now. And I think that's another really big ripple effect of today's move.